Update. We reconciled. Then I ran into her again and ruined everything. It has been a few months since my last update, and I honestly thought that chapter of my life was closed. After everything came out, my wife and I spent weeks in painful conversations. Long talks that went late into the night, therapy sessions that left us both exhausted, a lot of tears, a lot of silence. Somehow, slowly, we started reconnecting. She told me she still loved me, but only if things were completely honest going forward. I promised her they would be. I cut off contact with the other woman completely. I deleted her number, blocked her, changed my routines. I wanted to prove that I was choosing my marriage. For a while, it felt like we were actually rebuilding something. Not the same relationship we had before, but something quieter and more intentional. We were careful with each other. We talked more. We checked in. We even laughed again. For the first time in months, I felt hopeful. I truly believed we were going to make it. Then about 3 weeks ago, I went out with a couple of friends from work. Nothing wild, just drinks. My wife encouraged me to go, saying I needed to have some normalcy again. I promised her I would be home early. I did not expect to see her. I was already a few drinks in when I noticed Nancy across the room. I froze when I saw her. I had not seen her since everything fell apart. For a second, I considered leaving immediately, but she had already seen me. She walked over and said hi like it was no big deal. It was awkward at first. We made small talk. She asked how I was. I told her things were complicated but improving. She said she was glad to hear that. There was a long pause that felt heavy with things we were not saying. I should have walked away. Instead, I stayed. We ended up talking for a long time. About everything that had happened. About how messy it all became. About how much damage was done. I told her my wife and I were trying again. I told her I felt guilty all the time. I told her I hated how things ended. I had been drinking more than I should have, and my guard was completely down. She listened quietly. She told me she never stopped thinking about me. She said she understood why I chose to try again with my wife, but that it still hurt. She said she had felt disposable. Hearing that hit something in me. I started saying things I should not have said. I told her how hard it had been, how confusing everything felt, how part of me still wondered what would have happened if things were different. I told her I missed talking to her. She told me she missed me too. At some point, the conversation crossed a line I had promised myself I would never cross again. Not loudly or dramatically, just quietly, slowly. By the time I realized how far it had gone, it was too late. I went home with her. I woke up the next morning sick with regret. The first thing I felt was panic. The second was shame. The third was the awful realization that I had just destroyed whatever chance my marriage still had. Nancy was asleep next to me. Seeing her there made everything feel real in a way I had been avoiding. This was not a mistake anymore. This was a choice I had made again. I left early and went home. My wife was already awake. She asked if I had fun with my friends. I lied. The words came out automatically, and I hated myself for how easy it was. I have been living with that lie for days now. I cannot eat. I barely sleep. Every time she looks at me with trust or talks about how proud she is of how far we have come, I feel physically sick. I know what I have done this time is worse. Before there was confusion and emotional mess. Now there is no excuse. I chose to betray her again after she gave me another chance. Nancy has messaged me since. She says she feels terrible, but also says she still has feelings. She says she does not want to be a secret again. She wants clarity. She wants to know what I'm going to do. I do not have an answer. I am terrified of telling my wife and destroying her all over again. But I also know that staying silent makes me even worse. I keep thinking about how much pain I have caused and how selfish I have been. I tell myself I should end things cleanly with both of them, but even that feels cowardly. I do not know why I keep sabotaging my own life. I do not know how to fix this. All I know is that I am standing in the middle of another mess I created, and this time there is no version of the story where someone does not get deeply hurt.